Alright, well, I had my first request for how to make a pie shell. So, what I did is I put about a half a teaspoon salt in my bowl. I'm going to measure up 1 cup flour. Put that in there. Alright, let's see. Well, one of the two most ingredients you can have while doing a pie crust is having Sons of Cora playing in the background and a strong hot cup of coffee. So, 1 cup flour plus, this is according to my mom, 2 extra tablespoons of flour. There's that one. There's number 2. Okay? And let's mix that up. We'll grab a fork. Let's mix that salt that's in the bottom there. And you can put the flour in first and then throw the salt on top. It doesn't matter. We want to blend that really good. And that's fine. I usually do put the salt on top, but I was trying to be prepared for you guys. Didn't know you were going to stop by today, so I'm kind of in a hurry to make this pie for you. So, let's get this here mixed up really nice. Then we have 1/3 cup vegetable oil. There she goes. 4 ingredients to this pie shell, and it's the best pie shell you'll probably ever have. I know it is in my book, and we all know the pie shell is what makes the pie. The filling can be pretty bland. You can even take it out of a can, but if you don't have a good pie shell, you don't end up with a very good pie. And this is probably, I've always had comments on my pie, is this is probably it's the best. So, thanks to my mom and my grandma, this is their recipe. And I'm just share it with all of you. Now we're not done adding ingredients yet, because we have one important ingredient that's going to make it. See, it's nice and creamy, kind of like right now, nice and blended, and now we have to add some cold water. 2 tablespoons of cold water. Let me get it out of the fridge. Nice and cold. Pour that right in. Set that over there. And we're just going to blend that up real nice. See, it almost looks like, oh my gosh, you just ruined it with all that water. That looks like yuck. Look how creamy it looks. It looks kind of yucky. But you just keep mixing her up. Just keep mixing that up. We'll see, it's going to turn out just awesome. It's really nice and fluffy and light. But the important part is being that the water is supposed to be cold. So I take it right from the refrigerator, put it in there. It's only 2 tablespoons. Okay, let's get that in there. We can get our hands in there a little bit. Make sure we wash them after we get done working on the car, you know, changing the oil. We don't want to have motor oil in our pie shell. You know, one of these nice things that I'm doing too is I'm making a pumpkin pie, and I guess one of the great things that I've noticed about pumpkin pie is you end up with a metal can left over. And sometimes I've heard that these metal cans are really useful for baking oil. You know, like baking grease. You know, you're frying up some bacon on the stove and you don't know what to do with your bacon grease. You know, you throw one of these right at the kitchen counter, and when you got some hot bacon grease, you know, you just take the tablespoon and you scoop it out of your pan. You put it in one of these metal cans and it will take it. You know, not like some kind of plastic container that might melt, and you end up with bacon grease all over the counter, on the floor, in between the stove and the cupboard. But that's what I keep one of them around for. So anyway, you're going to get yourself a piece of wax paper. 2 pieces of wax paper. And you'll lay that down and put your pie crust on there. See how nice that is? It's just beautiful. It feels great. Throw that on there. take your other wax paper, put it over the top. Grab your rolling pin. Pound this out. Now I'm going to be using a 9-inch pie pan. That's what I'll be using for this pumpkin pie. You use an 8-inch and I think it gets so darn full I have a hard time getting it to the oven because I'll end up spilling it because I'm not very steady. That's alright. Use a bigger one. It'll work. Nothing too picky. I don't get real fancy about things, but we try. Alright, let's get this puppy rolled out. Now one thing you want to do is if you don't know how big to make your pie crust, get your pie crust or your pie pan, which we have right here, and we're going to lay that down. And we're going to want to probably be 2 inches larger than the pie pan, so I figure about 2 widths of my thumb wide. So we're going to want to widen that up a little bit more. That is if my thumbs are fat enough. This is working out really nice. Very. There. You really can't go wrong with this pie crust. Really, every one I've done, it's just the more you do it, the better you get at it, of course. And you don't have to be so picky. You can. If it gets a little bit too, it's not soft enough and it's too crumbly, just add a little bit more cold water to it. That looks pretty smooth. I just take my rolling pin and smooth her out and see what we got. Yeah, about 2 widths. That looks pretty darn close. Let's give it a shot. Alright, take this first piece of wax paper right off of there. You don't have to put anything in your pie pan. Throw that puppy right over the top. Wiggle, wiggle here. Let's see how we do. Sometimes it doesn't come off as good as you think, but you can use a knife and you can just. But pretty good, coming off nice, clean. Whoops, I just ripped it. Getting into a hurry for you guys, but that's okay. Easy to fix. But on YouTube you don't have a whole lot of time. It takes forever to download something on there. I know it does for me, but that's alright. Here we go. Now, put that down in there. Plenty big. So you got to get that pie shell down in there. The next best thing you need to figure out is getting all the air pockets out between the pie crust and the pie pan. So we want to get those all out of there. It's all working out real nice here. I made that hole before, that's no big deal. See how it just, no biggie. It just really kind of does a nice job. We just take our fingers, we'll lay that crust up in there. I'm going to make a little, fold the excess up in there like that. It doesn't have to be real pretty unless you want to get that way about it, but I never do. It's homemade. Got to look homemade, right? That's okay. That's what makes the best part of it. It's just throwing it together. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little thicker over here, a little thinner over there, and that's alright. It all works out. You don't get too hung up on all that stuff, but that's alright. It looks nice when people do a nice job on a pie. I give them that. That takes some real patience. Kind of impatient, I guess, maybe. We're doing pretty good here. Let's take our fork, and I got a couple of pockets of air there. We'll just pop in a few holes. Take that and just push them air pockets out to those holes. That's important. There's a nice air bubble. Let's get that out of there. There. there's our pie shell. That's really a simple dimple, right? Got my filling. Oh, there we go. Got my filling over here on the counter already ready to go. Got my oven on. Pour that puppy right into the pie shell. Oh yeah. Glad I used the 9-inch one. Now it looks like a lot, doesn't it? And I know, ingredients wise, I don't worry about anything special. I just use the cheapest stuff. My wife, she taught me. She said, you know what? Sugar is sugar, flour is flour. You can buy all the best stuff you want. You know what? I've used all the cheapest stuff that I can find. I always come out with a good pie crust. No complaints. Oh, good strong coffee. Good stuff. Alright, one of the things I wanted to show was how to make an aluminum shield for the pie crust that goes over the top of the pie so that the crust doesn't burn. You can buy one of these here aluminum ones, or this is what I usually like to use before I got that nice one. Because when you take a piece of tin foil and you could, before you cut the hole in it, you can kind of mark where the pie pan is going to fit on there, and then you fold it in quarters, and then you'll see where the pie pan area was, and you just take your thumbnail and you just give yourself like 1.5 inches and make a mark with your thumbnail. Take a scissors and cut that corner out, and then when you open it up, you put it on your pie just like this one. This is what I did. You throw this on there and like that, and then it covers that crust up so it won't burn. See how nice and golden brown it got? And it's kind of hot yet, just got out of the oven. But you'll see I like using a white see-through, the clear glass pan. You can see the crust, and see it's done really well. So it's done really nice, and you can take that crust, it's just perfectly flaky. See how nice, look at it, just falls apart so nicely. Oh, very good. Perfect. So it tastes great. Can't wait to have that for dinner tonight. That'll be nice with a little Cool Whip. Wonderful. So thank you for watching. I hope that this pie crust recipe is be your family favorite, maybe. So enjoy it. I hope it helped you. God bless you.